The top 10 most deadly earthquakes in the world. Hello viewers, welcome to Earthquake Disaster Movies. Here we have unbelievable but amazing natural phenomenon stuff for you. Suppose you dare to know about earthquake history, its impact on the lives of people and the economy of the world, so be there always. We have amazing stuff for your choice. Before moving ahead, subscribe to our channel and press the bell icon to get the latest updates. Every year, earthquakes kill thousands of people, either directly or due to the accompanying tsunamis, landslides, fires, and famines. Earthquakes occur when the Earth's tectonic plates meet, releasing energy in the form of seismic waves. Scientists use the Richter scale to quantify the magnitude of earthquakes, assigning numbers such as a 6.0 or a 7.2. For example, the nuclear bomb dropped on Nagasaki, Japan in 1945 had an explosive power of 32 kilotons. For example, going from 5.0 to 6.0 signifies a tenfold increase in wave amplitude. Here are the top 10 most deadly earthquakes in the world. 1. Shaanxi, China earthquake, 1556. A massive earthquake with an estimated magnitude of 8.0 struck the Chinese regions of Shaanxi on January 23, 1556. According to preliminary estimates, the earthquake killed more than 60% of the population in these two districts. It took seconds for the ground to shake strongly enough to crush mountains, ignite days-long infernos, cause catastrophic floods, and even reroute rivers. Landslides became relentless and destroyed everything in their path, with fractures in the soil reaching a depth of 66 feet. There have been several aftershocks in the region since then. It was revealed that the high number of fatalities in the region was caused mainly by the soft soil on which people had built their homes. The yaodongs were earth shelters in the form of artificial caves on the hillside. Even though they were comfortable all year, these residences were vulnerable to collapse in the case of an earthquake. As a result of the earthquake, the entire hillside collapsed, burying all its people. As a result of the calamity, 830,000 people were murdered and millions more were injured or displaced. 2. Tangshan, China earthquake, 1976. An earthquake of 7.8 to 8.2 magnitude hit Tangshan, China at 3:42 a.m. on July 28, 1976. At this point, Tangshan had around 1 million people, most of whom were fast asleep. This region is particularly vulnerable to earthquakes because of its proximity to the Pacific Plate. Residents began reporting weird things in the days leading up to the earthquake. Intense flashes of color and fireballs had been reported, fluctuating water levels, and frightened rodents racing through the streets. For approximately 23 seconds, Tangshan was rocked by a massive earthquake that obliterated 90% of the city's structures. Fires broke out as soon as the shaking subsided. Their heat swiftly sets off explosives and hazardous chemicals in the city's industries. Water and electricity were turned off throughout the city's railroad was demolished, and the city's roads were entirely cut off. Food and medicine were dropped off by helicopters and planes on survivors of the ravaged city. According to China's government, 242,000 people were killed in the disaster. However, some sources have claimed the death toll was closer to 500,000. 3. Indian Ocean earthquake, 2004. On December 20, 2004, the Sumatran earthquake and tsunami, often known as the Christmas or Boxing Day tsunami, occurred, making this list's most current entry on the most recent. The 9.1 magnitude earthquake disrupted fault lines between the Indian and Australian plates. The massive tsunami was caused by a 40-meter change in the ocean floor. First of multiple 100-foot waves hit the shores of Banda Aceh just 20 minutes after the earthquake. More than 100,000 people were murdered, and the city was devastated due to the disaster. Waves battered Thailand, India, and Sri Lanka. Tens of thousands more were killed when the flood and debris crushed them to death. There were casualties from the tsunami that hit South Africa's coast 8 hours after the original earthquake, almost 5,000 miles from the epicenter. A whopping 230,000 individuals were killed in the disaster. 4. Haiyuan, China earthquake, 1920. Haiyuan County in north-central China's remote Gansu province was rocked by a major earthquake on December 16, 1920, a year before it became part of the Ningxia Hui Autonomous Region. A 15-kilometer deep earthquake occurred just after 7 p.m. local time, and aftershocks continued for 3 years. According to the USGS, it was an M8.3 earthquake, although the Chinese Earthquake Administration put it closer to an 8.5 magnitude. The maximum intensity of the modified Mercalli intensity scale corresponds to the quake's visual impacts. Earthquakes were detected in 96 spots worldwide, and the quake shook 2 lakes and 3 Norwegian fjords. It is so distant, and because the country was distracted by other significant political and humanitarian concerns during the early years of the Civil War, it is still relatively unknown. Many people were killed in the earthquake and subsequent landslides by malnutrition and exposure to the harsh winter weather that followed. The USGS estimated that 200,000 people were killed. However, Chinese research estimated that 273,000 were killed in 2010. Almost half of Haiyuan County's people have perished in a low population area. Another earthquake in China in 1976, the Tangshan quake, is often considered the worst of the 20th century. 5. KANTO Prefecture, Japan earthquake, 1923. The first shockwave struck at 11:58 a.m. on September 1, 1923, making it the deadliest earthquake in Japan's recorded history. Immediately following the initial wave, a 40-foot-high tsunami struck the coast of Sangami Bay, some 30 miles south of Tokyo. The 7.9 magnitude earthquake lasted anywhere from 4 to 10 minutes near its epicenter in central Japan. Many parts of Tokyo and other important cities in the vicinity were wiped away by the earthquake. Rikugun, Honju, Hifukushu, in Tokyo's downtown area, was engulfed in flames and incinerated the 38,000 people who had sought refuge there. A powerful hurricane off the coast whipped up heavy winds that expedited the development of the fires. A tally of 142,800 people was pegged as the final death toll. 6. Turkmenistan earthquake, 1948. Turkmenistan's present capital, Ashgabat, is close to the Iranian border. On October 6, 1948, a quake rocked a tiny town 25 kilometers southwest of Ashgabat around 1:12 a.m. The 7.3 magnitude surface wave destroyed or badly damaged most of the brick buildings in the neighborhood. Concrete buildings in Ashgabat and adjacent towns crumbled nearly completely, while freight trains derailed due to the earthquake. Iran's Daragaz suffered destruction and loss of life. Surface cracks were spotted in the vicinity of Ashgabat to the north and south. The death toll has been reported as ranging from 10,000 to 176,000 people by various media outlets. Almost 10% of the Turkmen's SSR population at the time of the disaster was estimated by a press release on December 9, 1988, to be the correct death toll. Turkmenistan's official news agency pegs the total death toll at 176,000. 7. Sichuan, China earthquake, 2008. As a result of China's terrible earthquake in 2008, more than 8,700 people died and an estimated 10 million were homeless. The 7.9 magnitude earthquake rocked western China's mountainous region of Sichuan, damaging millions of structures and incurring $86 billion in damages. Schools collapsed, hiding thousands of youngsters under rubble, sparking public outcry, and a government probe that discovered up to 20% of elementary schools may have been shoddily built and hazardous. However, initial pleas for justice by bereaved parents have been primarily muzzled by intimidation and reported payoffs to some extent. 8. AZAD, Kashmir, Pakistan earthquake, 2005. On October 8, 2005, a devastating earthquake rocked Pakistan's Kashmir region and the NWFP, or Khyber Pakhtunkhwa, after 2010. It also impacted India and Afghanistan to the south. According to accounts, at least 79,000 people were killed and over 32,000 structures were destroyed, making it one of the most catastrophic earthquakes in Kashmir and India. A powerful earthquake struck Pakistan's Azad Kashmir area near Muzaffarabad, Pakistan's administrative headquarters, and 65 miles or 105 kilometers north-northeast of Islamabad, the country's capital, at 8:50 a.m. local time. This earthquake, nearly as big as the 1906 San Francisco earthquake, wreaked havoc throughout Pakistan, India, and Afghanistan because it occurred on an active fault caused by the Indian subcontinent's northward tectonic movement. Several settlements in Muzaffarabad were destroyed. Anantnag and Srinagar in Jammu and Kashmir State, now Union Territory, India and Islamabad, Lahore and Gujarat in Pakistan have all suffered building collapses. Additional property damage had been reported in these and other Pakistani towns. Officially, the death toll in Pakistan-administered Kashmir and the NWFP was 79,000. However, other estimates put it as high as 86,000, with over 69,000 injured. At least 1,350 people were killed and 6,266 were injured in the Indian state of Jammu and Kashmir, and the tremors could be felt up to 620 miles away in Delhi and Punjab in northern India. 4 individuals were murdered and 14 others were injured in Afghanistan. 9. Messina, Italy earthquake, 1908. The region was destroyed by an earthquake and tsunami on December 28, 1908 in Messina, southern Italy. The combined disaster virtually destroyed Messina, Reggio di Calabria, and dozens of other coastal cities. An earthquake struck Europe around 5:20 a.m. local time, probably the strongest ever recorded in Europe. Its heart was located beneath the Strait of Messina, which separates Sicily from Calabria, or Italy's boot area. The earthquake had a rating of 7.5 on the Richter scale at its peak and lasted more than 20 seconds. 40-foot and 13-meter high waves pounded northern Sicily and southern Calabria following the earthquake. More than 80,000 individuals were killed in the disaster. Many survivors were sent to other Italian cities, including the United States. Experts hypothesize that the tsunami was caused by earthquake-induced seabed movement for a long time. There is evidence that the tsunami was generated by an underwater landslide rather than an earthquake. 10. Chimbote, Peru earthquake, 1970. On May 31, 1970, the Ancash earthquake, often known as the Great Peruvian Earthquake, caused devastating landslides along Peru's coast. Almost 70,000 individuals were killed. The center of the earthquake occurred 15 miles west of Chimbote, Peru, a fishing port in the Ancash region. It occurred at about 3:20 p.m. local time, with a magnitude of 7.9. The quake's repercussion shook a 400-mile stretch of country from Chiclayo to Lima, or 650 kilometers. There was a lot of devastation along the shore and in the Santa River Valley, both of which were near the center. Many homes and structures were made of adobe, which exacerbated the disaster because they were situated on unstable ground. Thousands of people were killed by landslides caused by earthquakes, and the quake itself killed many more. The most devastating landslide in Peruvian history happened on Mount Huascarán, the country's highest peak. The storm also impacted some nearby communities. However, they were not buried beneath a covering of snow and muck. I hope you enjoyed the video about the top 10 most deadly earthquakes in the world. Do subscribe to our channel, put your remarks about this superb video in the comments section, and never forget to press the bell icon for more upcoming exciting videos.